All right. Came away with the win. There's some moments in that game that I certainly wish we could have back and execute a little bit better. I think we put ourselves in some tough positions at times. Didn't play to our standard of play, certainly in the first half. But I thought our guys overcame that and did much better from an execution standpoint in the second half, and showed some flashes of what we can really be. I'm really proud of some of the younger players in our program, some of the players that got opportunities in this game to really highlight their talents. I thought we did well in special teams. Big kick by Ross James to flip the field. An awesome tackle by Zach Grisham, a guy that worked so hard in our program to do so much that you guys maybe don't know as well as we do, but the players in our locker room were thrilled to see him have a moment. How impressive was Ty Thompson when he came in the game and operated at a really high level. And certainly don't want this to go miss, but thoughts and prayers for, Javian Thomas. He got hurt there. I'm, proud that our medical staff and their medical staff was able to give him quick care. And we're praying for great news for him. Never want to see anybody get injured in this game, but we can open it up.
Start your front right, Zach.
Coach, what specifically needs to change for you guys to cut down on the penalties in this game?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I'll have to go look at the film and see, but you're not always going to be able to execute on second and long and third and long when you put yourself in those situations. So we're going to coach it. We're going to coach it really hard. We've had games where we've played really clean ball, and we've had games like this, and it's certainly disappointing. So we have to figure out different ways to emphasize it. We got to eliminate some selfish play because some of those are penalties that should never exist. Then we got to just play clean football. But you get what you emphasize, and obviously we're not emphasizing that at a high enough level.
Second row on the left. Eric.
Your team's response, but I think Tez specifically having the drop, being a part of the weird fumble situation, then responding with such a big day, just speak to his effort.
Yeah, Tez is a guy that battles every single moment he's on the field. I know he wants that first play back, just like all of us do. But those moments happen in football. And when you see adversity hit, seeing guys go out and respond and react to that adversity, I think is really important. And he certainly wants to be coached hard. He demands the best of himself. We'll continue to challenge him and continue to see him grow as a player as well.
All the way to the back, Matt.
Speaking with Tez, what did you see in the game plan this week to get him so many targets? I think he had a season high in targets and career high in receptions. And was that or a byproduct of just the game flowing the way it did?
No, it was part of our plan to be able to hit some 3-level routes, to be able to execute some stuff with him, with his speed across the field. I think that's a hard guy to cover if you decide to go man. He creates matchup issues with the speed that he has. That's something we want to continue to figure out how to use him in the passing game to create a weapon for us.
Back right, Trevor.
Early in the week, you talked about showing clips of Michael Jordan to emphasize that next play mindset. How much did that message help your team today in that first half when things weren't always going your way, but you were still able to put the ball in the end zone a bunch of times?
Yeah, I thought our guys responded. Unfortunately, I think we hurt ourselves too much today, and that's something we have to go out and coach. I'll say this, that's a hungry locker room, and they're certainly not satisfied. So, last week has nothing to do with this week. This week has nothing to do with the next week. It's about what product we put on the field really through the week for us to continue to build and grow as a team, and I'm anxious to see our guys do that this week.
Front left, James.
What did you think of Casey Rogers in the first two plays that he had where, the sack fumble, but also the pushing back the lineman to lead to the interception for Steve after the back and forth with the takeaways there early?
Yeah, I thought our D-line in general had to have a dominant day. We were doing a lot with less because of some of the scheme that they run, where they're running insert plays where we had to have a D-lineman win up front, and he got some elite pressure. That's a great example of a guy that works every single day. Is the definition of a leader, the way he preps for our program. So glad to see him have some success and impact the game.
Front right, Zach.
When you have a situation like that in the third quarter, a scary situation with the stoppage of play for a long time, a really emotional situation, how hard is it to kind of get your team back ready to go out there and play like nothing happened really at the end?
Our guys are pros, and they understand the dangers of playing, football at a high level. Every one of us, in our program feel for him and feel for his family and his teammates. I know they're hurting, but we also know that there's a job to accomplish for us on the field. And I thought our guys did a good job of hitting the reset button, paying respect to him, but going out there ready to execute when they got the opportunity.
Second row right here, Joe.
Coach, what was your reaction to the CFP rankings released earlier in the week, and how would you assess where this team stands in that?
No reaction, just win.
Second row left, Eric.
Mentioned Ty briefly. I'm just curious on the progress you've seen outside of this game, but also how vital is getting him an opportunity to have some drives like that.
Yeah, I think it's extremely vital, to create opportunities for him and to let him, when you go out there, to let him go operate, right? To let him go execute the offense. And I thought he did a phenomenal job of protecting the ball. He presented tremendous touch on some of those throws where he put it where our guy could get it, no one else could. Made some checks within the game based on our game plan too. So really proud of the way he executed.
Jared, here on the left, halfway back.
Yeah, Dan, we didn't see Mateo out there today. I'm just wondering if he's okay or if everything's all good with him.
Yeah, we probably could have used him today, but we were conscientious of him and didn't want to push. He was able to warm up with the team pregame, and I think he could have played if we needed him to play, but decided to go against that.
All the way in the back, Matt.
What'd you make of the first quarter? Just how it impacted the game for you guys?
Yeah, disappointing. It was a disappointing first quarter for me. I mean, I've got a standard that I think that we should play at. It really doesn't matter about who we're playing, and we didn't play well enough there to start. Now, it's hard when you play good teams and you put yourself in that hole. I think we got to learn from that, and you have as much to learn from wins as you do from losses. We won the game today, but there's a lot that we can learn, especially early in that game, that we can execute better.
Front left, James.
You said you were annoyed by a couple of the penalties and that they shouldn't have happened. Which ones are you speaking of? There was Jackson on what looked to be an effort situation, but called.
Yeah, that annoyed me.
And Stephen Jones, I didn't know what happened, but the helmet came off and was called unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, that annoyed me.
And the sideline.
Yeah, that annoyed me. Yeah, you got him.
Middle right, Tyson.
Just going back to that first quarter, when there are a couple just funky few drives there's always kind of talk of how players come back and kind of readjust from that. How is that for you guys as a coaching staff when there's just it just kind of seems you're just looking for that traction? Like what sort of conversations did you guys have amongst yourselves?
Well, it's really similar to what Trevor brought up earlier about next play, right? You can't live in the past, but that means you can learn from your mistakes. So when we make a mistake, let's not make the same mistake, right? Good teams don't make the same mistake. And it looks like we made a lot of different mistakes today. But we have to eliminate that. We have to be able to get to the next play and make sure we don't shoot ourselves in the foot. Like that happened too much today.
Front right, Zach.
Cal's a really good rushing team. They average almost 200 yards per game. You guys held them to half of that today. How impressed are you by this defense week after week, being able to go up against the opponent and really kind of shut down their main thing?
I thought we should have held them to less. Again, our standard isn't based on everybody else. I thought our coaches had a good plan. I thought we didn't execute it as well as we could have. Some of the tempo can create that for them when they go fast, but we had moments where we had great knockback at the line of scrimmage. We had guys separating from blocks, and we had moments where we didn't. So we're going to coach those. And again, I'm not a stats guy. I don't really get hung up on that. Some great plays can happen, and I want to see us tackle well. I want to see us get off the blocks. That's our standard.
Second row left, Derek.
Decision to go with Cam in there for that long of a field goal. Just walk us through that, and is that about the edge of his range, I guess?
Yeah, I'd say it's probably the edge. We just want to take a chance. You're kind of in no man's land. You could go for it on fourth. It's a longer fourth where you're not going to probably have a ton of success. You could potentially do a pooch punt or do a punt like we've done with Bo in the past. But that was a moment where hey, let's see what we can do. There was a lot of wind at moments in the stadium today, and I think it kind of flipped directions. But wanted to give him an opportunity to go put points on the board.
Back right, Trevor.
When in the offseason or even the recruiting scouting process did you realize that Tez was a guy that could have a game like that and thrive at this level of college football?
I probably recognized it more so in practice, right? And we knew he was a talented player, definitely knew he was a talented returner. That's something that showed up on his film before. I was glad to see that, show up today and him execute at a high level today. But, he's got speed, he's got talent, and it shows up in practice, it shows up in games.
Back right, Aaron.
Heading into your kind of last 3 games of the season, luckily 2 of them are here at Autzen Stadium, but how crucial is it going to be to kind of fix those mistakes in the first quarter, knowing that you only have a couple more opportunities to really make an impact before the postseason?
Yeah, it only matters when it matters, right? And we don't want it to be the reason that hurts us. So it's really important we fix all those quickly. Right, and we've done a good job of addressing issues, throughout the season that we're like, okay, we have to go improve this, and our guys have really attacked it. So I'm certain that they'll do the same thing this week.
Front left, James.
I know you're not a big stats guy, but it is 63 points. It is the most total yards and passing yards and best third down rate against the Willcox defense since he's been at Cal. There was some positives offensively. Just how do you try to combine the two, that yes, there were things that you were self-inflicted, but you also had statistically a really impressive day.
I think that just speaks to, what kind of team we're capable of being. And even though there were some things that were really positives in this, I think there's some things that we can certainly get a lot better at. So we're not going to rest on, the results. We're not a result-oriented team. We're a process-oriented team. So I'm going to continue to focus on the process. It did a good job on third down, but, it's better than doing a good job at third down. It's avoiding third down. And so there's some things that I think we can really improve on and that we'll continue to focus on.
Right, Zach?
Bo, do anything that surprises you anymore? Or have you kind of seen it all, expected this type of performance anymore?
The throw he had to Trayshawn surprised me. My heart stopped for a little bit. That was, an interesting one where he was able to ad lib and create something, out of nothing. So I thought that was a big time play by him. I don't know what he had today, 6 touchdowns. I mean, it's pretty impressive. I think anybody that's watching Bo right now knows he's playing at a really high level. He's a competitor. He makes us different and certainly makes his team better.
Middle right, Tyson.
You guys announced before the game that you'll be giving a postseason award in honor of Dave Willcox. What went into that, just establishing that, and just, what have you kind of been able to learn about Dave and his career and life and your time here?
Well, obviously he's an exceptional player, but the more I've learned about Dave, you learn about an exceptional human. That means a lot to this program. Obviously his sons played here as well. It means a lot to them. That family means a lot. Their names out there on our practice field, and what he's given to the game of football, what he's given, to the University of Oregon, is something that we really cherish. So it's something we want to honor in the future.
Oh, we have, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Congrats on the
Thank you
win.
guys.